Hello everyone, Yanni Plays here, and today we are going to build a custom oak tree. Now for this custom oak tree, we are going to use my 4 steps that I already explained in a different tutorial. If you have not yet watched this tutorial, I recommend you going to watch this video. I put the link down into the description, and I'm also going to put a card here into this video. Now there are a lot of different types of oak trees. The one that we're building today has a dome shape, and it is about 60 to 70 feet tall and about 80 feet wide. And if you look at the tree from the top, you can see that it is fairly circular. To get started with this tree, we are starting with our 4x4, and this time we are going to have it 4 blocks high. Next, we are going to take a temporary block and we extend one side all the way up to 20. We then extend from the center out about 14 or 15 blocks. Once we have all of those blocks laid out, we are going to connect the whole outside in a circle motion, and we're going to connect each of the sides in a dome shape to the top. At the end, it should look like this one here. Now, if you look closely, you can see that this is not a perfect circle and it is not a perfect dome shape, but we are imitating something in the nature, and it is never going to be a perfect circle or a perfect dome shape. So if you're thinking that you have to pull up a circle calculator to make it perfect, please don't do that. We need some of those imperfections to make it look more natural. Next, we're going to start putting our 4 initial branches in. Oak trees have the branches that mostly go up, they don't slope down a lot. So we're trying to do the same here. We're going up, out, you can go in a diagonal until you are close to the outside. Let's do that on all 4 sides. Once all 4 of our initial branches are in, we are going to break them up into smaller branches. For this, you just go to wherever you think will be a good connection and you pull up another branch so that we can fill majority of the lower level of this tree. And you can make them quite quirky. Oak branches often loop back and go into a different direction again. There is not really a wrong way on doing those branches. Once you're happy with how the lower level looks like, we can start building up higher. For this, go to some of those intersections and just build it up and over until we reach the end of the dome. Of course, we also have to build up the center, but we are not connecting with the 4x4 that we had at the bottom. We're trying to connect a little bit on the outside on one of those main branches. And you always can loop back in a little bit. Just pull it up. And then slowly start going to the outside again. To fill the absolute center, we just go to a branch that is close to the center and we are going to pull it up and closer to the middle. We're also going to add a few branches that hang lower. Again, we just pull them off of one of the connections, trying not to go too close to the trunk. Next, we are going to add our fences, and here again I'm using the spruce fences because they just match the oak very well. And with those we are just going to add little twigs and smaller branches, mainly to the end sections, and you can go very liberal with those. You can never have too many of them. Also, we add a few at the bottom. You also can make smaller branches that come up and over. And we're just going all around the tree with those. If you want, you also can use fence gates and open those. That would just give you a double twig. And often you also will have the situation that you thought you were done with the big branches, but then you come and you see that here we have a big gap. That is not a problem. We just go back and we add another big branch. And you will have this situation throughout your whole build. So even once you are starting to place the leaves, you will have big holes and big gaps, and you can easily just fill them with adding another branch. Now, if you want, you can take off your support structure, or you can wait until you placed all of the leaves and then take them off. Especially in survival, I usually leave the support blocks on because so I can walk on them while I'm placing the leaves all around me. Now, starting to place the leaves, we begin at the lower area and on the outside, and we are trying to work our way all the way around. Just go ahead and place a lot of the leaves. Now, if the branches are close enough together, you can go and connect them. And especially on the outside, it should be pretty well connected. Now, when I place the leaf blocks, I want them to either directly connect to a piece of wood or have maximum of one leaf block in between. And we are mainly placing the leaf blocks on top and on the side of everything, so we're not going underneath just yet. Now here you see we ran into the situation that those two branches are too far apart, and you are going to run into that issue quite a lot. So all you have to do is find a good place to add another branch. I am going to add one over here. Add a couple fence posts. And now we can connect the leaves. So when you place the leaves, make sure that you don't have any big areas. We should never have a 3x3 area without any elevation change. So if we have that like here, we are just going to put a few more leaf blocks in. And the same applies when we have vertical lines that are very long, longer than 3 blocks. Go ahead and add just another block somewhere in between to break up this line. Once this lower level is connected, we can start building higher up. And again, we are building towards the outside, and we're going to close the dome. But now we are not only trying to connect to the branches next to us, we're also trying to connect to the branches underneath. Now, if we have some holes and gaps, that is not a problem. We will go and take care of them later. And also some of the holes are going to stay that make the tree look more natural. And as higher up we get, we also work more and more towards the center. Once we have the tree covered, we are going to start flying around to see if we have any areas where you can still see a lot of the wood, see if we have any twigs that we forgot to put the leaves on, and then we are going to work on the center of the tree. So as you can see, when we fly around, we can see quite a few of big openings and big gaps. So when we start working on the inside, we are flying in through one of those openings. And in those areas, we are going to place a little bit more leaf blocks on the inside. Because in this area, the sunlight is reaching the center of the tree, and that's where leaves would generate on a natural tree. But we are still trying to stay as much on the outside as possible, so we're not going to the center of the trunk and spam click a lot of leaves in this area. And just with those few leaves, it already looks much better. And don't forget, if you have some big holes that you have a hard time filling, you can always fly inside and take some fence posts and make a branch that comes down. And now we have a lot of area where we can add some more leaves and cover more of this hole up. And once you're happy on how everything looks like, we can start going to the inside of the tree and place a few more blocks there. But remember, the inside of the tree is very dark and not a lot of sunlight is getting in here, so the tree wouldn't generate a lot of leaves. So we just place a few here and there, especially around the small twigs that you added, so that the tree in the center is still very nice and open. Then we're taking a look at the tree from the bottom, and also here we just place here and there a few leaves that hang a little bit lower. Also walk around the tree from where you would walk in your base or your area, and you may see something unnatural like this hole here. So let's just go ahead and break this hole up a little bit. Just a few leaf blocks here and there, and it already looks so much better. Now the last thing that we are going to do is texturing the tree. On the leaves, it is your preference what you would like to do. Do you want to stay with the same colors, or do you want to have a different shade? I don't like to go with too many different shades of green, but on a tree this size, I think it makes sense to maybe place one stack of azalea leaves. They're a little bit lighter than the oak leaves. And those we just place around the outside, or we break leaves and replace them with an azalea leaf. And try to stay towards the outside, because those lighter leaves will be at the area where we have a lot of sun exposure. Once that is done, we can start texturing the trunk itself. For that you can use planks, stairs, slabs, trapdoors, or what we are going to use here is a stripped dark oak for some roots. You can place upside down stairs on some of the main branches, or even at the trunk, so that it looks like a piece is missing, and of course some around the bottom where our root system is going to taper out. Some of the blocks you can replace with the planks, or you can use a slab to give it a smoother transition. You can also place different buttons to emulate where maybe a branch was one day and it broke off. You can use trapdoors to give it a little bit more variation of height. And then of course we also texture the area around the tree. You can use different wood blocks, you can use cobblestone or mossy cobblestone, moss blocks. There are so many blocks that you can use to smooth in the tree trunk to the surrounding area. So if you want to know how to build some other custom trees, go ahead and hit the subscribe button so you can follow me along on building other custom trees. If this tutorial helped you building your oak tree, please give me a like, it means a lot to me, and I hope you have a wonderful day and great success in building your trees. Thank you and goodbye.